My thoughts after making my first $100,000. It's Saturday night 11:51 p.m. and I'm just taking a break from reading my new book Adweek, the Copywriting Handbook. My business, which took a year to get here, is about to reach $100,000 and it feels great. Every day I wake up comfortable knowing I've built something successful. Our growth is only getting better and I can see the path to $100,000 a month. What's different between before the business and now? Not much. I think I can better evaluate ideas. I'm also starting another startup on the side and I have more experience now, but nothing is really different. Why? Because I always believed in myself and that's really all it takes. Ever. I just kept going through every failure knowing that I would eventually make it. You can see I joined this forum in 2013 and I've been on the grind even before that, but was a little immature and didn't take my ideas as seriously as they needed to be taken to succeed. It was worth it. The grind feels the same at $100,000 as it did $1. Nice work. Only 3 years is fast. It has taken me 6 years to create a $36 or years business. What do you do beside writing books? I don't write any books, although I do want to one day. I created a SaaS, which I don't want to speak too much about on these forums. Congrats on your first dollars. Hitting milestones are always the best part of owning a business. I see. I follow many podcasts that focus on SaaS. My $36,000 is recurring and it pure profit, so yeah, it is a big milestone for me. Anyway, if you don't want to pitch your service, would you maybe share some resources that got you where you are today? I honestly wouldn't even know where to start. There comes to a point where all the SaaS podcasts and growth podcasts start repeating basically the same information over and over, so you can stop listening to them but still need to stay up to date with all the latest information because there are still golden nuggets of information being passed around that you need to know. To find those nuggets I use, and today to get here, it was more of learning whatever was needed at the time. For example, I really want to get higher conversions on our landing page. Well, the best way to do that is to be really badass at copy. So that's what I'm learning now. But I don't even think you need to know everything that I do. I honestly believe all you need is an idea and commitment. I think most people fail at both. They start with an idea they don't fully believe in and they don't go all in because of a lot of reasons. One of them being because they doubt their idea, which they didn't believe in the first place. Quick side rant about the idea: that is complete horse shit. Yes, it works, but you're a lot better off pulling from something you know and building something for someone like yourself who is a part of a much bigger market. When you do this, you can think for your user because you are your user. When you build something you don't know, you have to question every step and there's a million chances to get it wrong. A few examples, and most of the products you use today were built using the same methodology, but people seem to ignore that. Instead, people are looking for a get-rich-quick idea disguised as interview some random dude in a random industry. Is it possible to be successful doing this interview BS? Yes, it's just a lot harder and you're setting yourself up to fail. You have a set of unique experiences and a perspective that will give you an idea to build something that people like you will love. Build that, not something random. Thanks for your honesty. Well, I have started to understand that the path is different for all of us, and that makes the "I will teach you" part very diffuse. I am looking at the SaaS model with big interest, but where I am right now is to just make my number one income source bigger and learn the B2B space and their problems or frustrations. My whole theory is basically don't confine yourself to learn the B2B space and their problems, instead look at your own problems and solve them. That's how this product was made, and that's how I got the idea for my next product. I wasn't looking anywhere else other than my own experience. I understand. I have a friend who ran a small restaurant. I worked there for a year and created a web agency for restaurants. I really just tried to help the problem we had with reaching more people online. The problem is that other restaurants don't believe they can get customers online, and if they do, their budget is too low. The high-end restaurants all have great sites. I have many stories where I try to solve my own problems but failed hard. But even do we have different opinions about the business idea, we both know that it is more important how much action you take, how consistent and for how long. As you wrote, agreed. Huge congrats, man. I remember where you were a year ago, and to see that you're making solid traction is fabulous. Rock on, dude. I completely agree. Good to see you again. I definitely remember you too. You've always been supportive. Congrats, man. Hopefully I can post something like this soon. Would you mind sharing how you got your first few customers? I built up a list of 1K pre-signups by blogging plus social media. That's awesome. So creating articles related to your market, then advertising on social media? Or just word of mouth? Here, have $100 rep to go with that $100,000 onto something new, but when my first business broke $100,000 it felt unreal. Congrats on that. Now on to $1 million. And that's the way that you do it. Engaging on social media. I would monitor hashtags and engage with people posting in them. When you're starting, any sign up is important, no matter how hard you have to work for it. Would send the blog post to relevant social groups and try to build links, which really hard, but now we have a few #1 blog posts bringing in consistent traffic. Thanks, bro. I am pretty sure I'll be able to do $1 mil by the end of next year. Can't wait to see you post that. Remember when you thought that it wasn't going to work? Haha, me too, man. That's going to be an awesome feeling. Especially since I have some failed progress threads here too. Very valuable advice. Thanks, man. Congrats, bro. Huge inspiration. Sent me a PM and I thought it would be better to have a public answer. He asked how I know an idea is worth pursuing. All I can say is how I know an idea is worth pursuing for me. 1. Development time. Is it a huge project or small project? It took me a year to build this product and I never want to spend that much time in development again. We did launch within that year, but it took a year to be a solid product. 2. Market size. How big is the potential market? 3. Price. How much is my target market realistically looking to pay? The higher priced, the less people I have to sell to and the more money I'll have for advertising campaigns. 4. How can I connect to this market? How am I going to get my product in front of these people? If it's really easy, then that's a huge plus, or if it has a natural viral loop somewhere inside of it, that's another plus. 5. What value do I see? Personally, I don't work on ideas outside of my knowledge. Like you mentioned above, I pull from my own experiences and I should be able to see if users will actually pay for my idea or not. If I know for sure they will want this product, then I run it through the previous 4 points. I do not survey them. I have a SaaS idea that I want to build, but I don't have the programming skills. I am interested in learning the basics though, just so I can communicate better with the programmer I'm going to hire. Can you give advice on how I can learn the 80 or 20 here? The 20% that produce 80% of the results. I am not asking for shortcuts. Not that kind of guy. Just learn HTML or CSS so you can edit your own landing pages and make small edits that you need to make. It's pretty simple stuff. I would also suggest partnering with a developer so you hold each other accountable. I've never had a problem finding one to work for equity, just surround yourself with them online plus offline. So for this project, you have a developer partner with shared equity? Yup. And all my last failed projects. I agree with the below. I started as based on a problem that I needed solved personally, like Slack did. It's a good six-figure business right now with hardly anyone knowing who we are in our industry still. My biggest asset is my partner in the business. Agreed with everything you said, especially this. This forum has a lot of attention on being a solo founder, but I couldn't have made it this far without my co-founder. P.S. Most incubators such as Y Combinator won't even let you in or consider you without a co-founder unless very rare circumstances. Hope you don't mind I retitled your thread and tagged Notable. Congrats on the accomplishment. Self-sufficiency is one of the best feelings in the world. Very true. A startup I helped grow and had equity in was invested in by a celebrity Shark Tank investor Barbara Corcoran, and later entered into Y Combinator YCW15 for those interested. So what do you do when no one else believes in you and you're not even sure you do yourself? It does not matter what other people think. The part about not believing in yourself is another story. You should always believe in yourself and cast the doubts and negativity aside. You just keep going. I deleted what I had put here. I don't wish to soil someone else's success with my woes. I used to think like you and I still do. I have certain insecurities and I already asked for advice on this forum. Some of the things I applied easily, while others I understood perfectly in theory but wasn't able to change them. I made a whole mind map actually because I was curious to know how the whole process of knowledge gaining or idea generating or creativity or action taking goes. I was curious to see how many external or personal elements play a role in the way we perceive or take action. It took me only a couple of hours to make it. Few things still need to be changed and added, but it has around I would say 50 to 70 different elements which all impact the way we make decisions and take action. It may sound like BS, but I am a very analytical person. Some of my relationships didn't work because my ex-GFS told me I tend to overanalyze everything as much as I can. Even though it took me only a couple of hours to make it, it is based on couple of years of observation and research about human mind, psychology and personalities, and it is also based on 12 years of personal struggles with almost everything I have ever touched or had in my life. When I started making it, I didn't understand how beneficial it was going to turn out to be because it revealed me one thing: you need to have a mastery or great knowledge of a certain field and yourself in order for you to generate and apply a $1 million idea from the beginning. If you don't like ideas you have right now, just waiting for a big hit is not going to come. Big ideas come with big experience. Write down all of the ideas you ever had, and start with that which doesn't require you to go into debt. Start building and launch it. It will give you experience, much more than just waiting for a $1 million idea. Experience will give you new knowledge, which could fire any time to give you yet new ideas which would have never popped into your mind. I didn't understand it in the beginning, but this is why people on the forum never stop saying just do. There are a lot of possible outcomes. Maybe you learn nothing because of your lack of capacity to learn from good or bad experience. I don't know you, so don't take this personal. It is just an example. Maybe you will stumble upon a problem which will spark in other ideas to help the people who have the same problem. Maybe your initial idea will take new direction with time and make you rich. I don't know. Plus doing something will make you feel better, because you will feel that your time is being well used. Everything I said is what I'm applying at the moment. Whenever a thought that this is not going to work pops into my head, I say, FCKU. It doesn't need to work, but it needs to see the light of the day. They say that creativity is just an ability to create connections between things that most of the others don't see. Note how everyone who made it planned for something smaller in the beginning. They just adjusted it after. Gale 4RC, what do you think of Dane Maxwell's content? Do you think it would be of much help to someone looking to venture in SaaS? Congrats Gale 4RC. And great practical advice you are giving to the unexperienced here. So true. You better believe his advice. I tried the Dane Maxwell approach for too long. I really didn't want to give up, so ended up spending about 3 months calling hundreds of companies in different industries. Yes, I got some pain points, but nothing really actionable. It's also extremely risky to build software for a problem you only partially or not understand. Like Gale 4RC said, scratch your own itch. What frustrations or improvements can you think of in terms of products, services, or available information related to your hobbies, jobs, health, or sports? Confidence comes from within. Dan Sullivan talks about the different attitudes to confidence here, and Dan talks about confidence again here. I cannot thank you enough for this thread. I really appreciate it, as I am building something right now and all your posts and advice are exactly what I needed. One question I have is, my childhood friend is a developer. I've come to him with prototypes and mock-ups in the past, and developed sales funnels while he works on the application, but now he has disowned me because of our past failed projects. How do you surround yourself with developers who will work for equity? P.S. Congrats on the exit, this thread is inspiring. Actually provide value. You coming up with prototypes plus mock-ups plus sales funnels that have no sales is the equivalent of you doing nothing. If you generate no sales, then you provide no value. No one will work for equity unless the sum of you plus them greater than them by themselves. This was 4 or 5 years ago. We had sales but the margins weren't enough to sustain. The things you learn in business. Since then I've improved my sales abilities and helped generate millions in increased revenues for some businesses locally. I usually outsource my web work, but for larger projects, it would be great to have someone as invested as I am in the success of the project. I'm looking for more insight for or where or to hang out to find developers that will work for equity, as Gale 4RC mentioned. I'm sure this would be helpful to others as well. Hey Gale. Congrats for your hard work and never giving up. You're an inspiration for me. However, just one comment with the interviewing part. I think you can't interview people to try and find a problem, but you can and must interview people to see if they share a common pain you've already found. I am currently doing this, and although most of the interviews are useless, I have found some very interesting insights I hadn't thought about. One guy even told me they were actually building something similar in their company anyway. Amazing journey and thanks for all your valuable insights. Best. You can mock up screens with PowerPoint. Just show what you want to appear and what behaviors or options you want. It's easier this way, since you can monitor your data flow more easily than trying to program. Thanks for the response, Ted. This comment is actually more than a year old. I have a full-time developer right now. The time investment to learn the basics has been really helpful. I can relate to what he's talking about, and sometimes I even offer solid suggestions in our brainstorming sessions. LOL. So much for adding value. I've been in IT for a long time, so maybe my approach works for me better than others. My background. What basics did you learn? I'm really interested in learning that. It's a constant theme here on the forum, learn to code or not to code, and one of my kids is asking me to. Since I've lost my perspective on this, it would be refreshing to hear from you. Short and sweet. I love it. Any updates on this now? How is the progress?